If they are in attendance, we just wanted to thank you all. If you all would like to mention anything throughout the portion of or throughout this process tonight, please just put it in the chat and we'll make sure that we can come back and recognize you all. But for everyone else, again, I'm very excited. I'm used to doing this orientation face to face. I'm usually up in front of you all sweating and hot and just passionate about things. So it's a little different sitting in my basement delivering things to you, but welcome. Can you go to the next slide, please, Mr. Gunn? So a little bit about the purpose of tonight's session. As you can see on the screen, we're going to give you an overview of the W.E.B. DuBois Academy. We're going to illustrate to you all a little bit what it looks like to not only have a mission of a school, but to be on a mission, because make no mistake, we are on a mission in charting a course of excellence in history. We want to talk to you all about some experiences that your young lions will have with us. And just a reminder for everyone outside of this room, because I know everyone in this room knows and understand what can be done and the work that we'll continue to do. So I'm going to turn it over, next slide please, to one of our assistant principals, Mr. Jahi Peak, that is going to talk to you all a little bit about our mission and then lead us through the student creed. Mr. Peak.
Again, welcome to all of our incoming students, sixth graders, and anybody else who might be here with us today. Welcome to the community and all the family members. Thank you guys for coming out tonight. Even though we all are in our individual places of residence, want to make sure that I want to say welcome to you guys. So our mission is essentially what our school was built on. It is the pillar that our school stands on. It is the foremost thing that we would like to express to our parents and our community. It's fairly long, but the highlighted orange portion is extremely important for our mission. It is to engage, eliminate barriers, and empower each young man to achieve excellence. So when we think about those things, it's in everything we do. It's everything that we learn. It's every direction of our curriculum is based on our mission. So for our student creed, young men, let's be very clear. We will say this creed every single day. Ever since I got hired at DuBois Academy, I've said this creed every single day. Each staff member knows this creed. We say it every staff meeting. You will know this creed. And I take pride in when we have our morning meetings, when we have our pride time, our brotherhood time, I call on young men all the time. And the first sixth grader to learn it is always really excited, and he empowers his brothers to do the same thing. So I will say the creed today. If you feel free, repeat it after me, even though I can't hear you. Just to let you guys know, parents and students alike, in the morning time when we say our creed, the building literally shakes. So parents, excuse your student for a second because he might have some pent up energy. He might be excited about going to middle school. He might be a little worried, but nonetheless, he might need to scream a little bit right now. So I encourage every young man, every parent to say the creed with us and just feel what happens to DuBois every single day. And I will start it. I was born to achieve greatness. I will not be defined by my mistakes, but my willingness to accept correction, to learn and grow. My greatness will be a result of my work ethic, mentorship, and support. I will achieve all my goals. I will be accountable for my actions and responsible to positively impact my community. I was born to achieve greatness, and I will determine the king that I will become. And at the end of that creed, ladies and gentlemen, students alike, we always leave with these few words, this saying, this chant that we do. We get loud and we say it proud, and it goes simply like this. When I say we are, you say one pride. We are one pride. We are one pride. When I say we are, you say one brotherhood. We are
one brotherhood.
We are
one brotherhood.
Welcome to the DuBois Academy, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peak. Next slide, Mr. Gunn. Thank you very much. So next up, we have an introductory video. The administrative staff will be speaking to you all tonight, but we reached out to our sixth grade staff as well as our wonderful office staff, and we wanted you all to be able to put faces with names as we're contacting you all and not able to meet you in person just yet. So we'll let that video roll.
Hi, and welcome to the DuBois family. I'm Ms. Wright, school secretary. I've been with DuBois since January of 2017 before the school opened to students. I look forward to working with all of you new incoming Lions and Young Lions along with your families.
Hi, and welcome to DuBois. My name is Tracy Dobbs, and I'm the records clerk. I've been with DuBois since January of 2019. I can't wait to meet you and your young lions this coming school year, 2021. If you have any questions or any concerns, just let us know and we'll try to help you the best that we can. Thanks.
Welcome, young lions and family. This is Mr. Kennedy, and I manage the attendance for W.E.B. DuBois Academy. I look forward to working with you and your young lions for the 2021 school year. If you have any question about attendance, whether it be doctor's notes, parents' notes, or family emergency, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Again, welcome. We are one pride, one brotherhood.
My name is Gerard Garrett. I'm the newly appointed assistant principal here at W.E.B. DuBois. I'm extremely excited to work with each and every one of you all. This is my very first year, and let us begin this journey together.
Hello, my name is Mary Leslie, and I teach 6th grade English Language Arts at the W.E.B. DuBois Academy. This will be my 3rd year here at the Academy, and it will also be my 23rd year of teaching. I'm very excited about meeting the new young lions that are coming in this fall. I'm excited about meeting new families, and I just cannot wait to get back into our building and work with your young men and help share my love of reading with them.
Hi, I'm Miss Smith, and I'll be teaching 6th grade language arts. I've been teaching for 10 years, but like you, I'm new here. I'm really looking forward to meeting everyone and having a great 6th grade year. See you soon, hopefully.
This is Miss Lee, 6th grade math teacher. I come from China. I have been living in the United States over 20 years. I work in the JCPS since 2003. This is my first year teaching in the W.E.B. DuBois. I love this school very much. I guarantee you will love this school.
Hello, DuBois family. This is Miss Smith. I teach 6th grade math, and I have been with DuBois since day one. I'm really excited to meet you guys, and I can't wait for the first day of school in the classroom instead of at home. Can't wait. See you soon.
Well, hello and congratulations. This is a big year, right? This is your first year at W.E.B. DuBois, and it's my first year at W.E.B. DuBois. My name is Mr. Ivy, and I will be teaching 6th grade science. I can't wait to meet you, to get to know you, and to see what all we can learn together in the coming months. I'll see you soon.
Congratulations! Oh my goodness! You're coming to the DuBois Academy. I'm so excited for you. I'm Miss Chanel. I will be your social studies teacher, and I can't wait to meet you in person. How long have I been at the school? Since we started. That's how we do. Brand new. That's you. Been here forever. That's me. It's all good, because we'll all be family once you get here. Take care. Nice to meet you.
Back to the presentation. Let's see.
All right, thank you very much for putting that video together, Mr. Peak, and to all of our young lions and families out there watching. Those will be part of the staff members that will be taking care of you all. There are many, many, many more of us in our village to make sure that you are safe, supported, and have everything that you all need. Families, one thing that I did not mention earlier, I know that you all may have questions throughout the process of tonight's presentation. Please feel free to put those into the chat. We will be capturing all the questions that you all have, and we will get responses back to you all. Next slide, please, Mr. Gunn. Okay, so a lot of information that we'll share with you all. You all may already have answers to these questions, but like to go over it anyway. You've chosen the W.E.B. DuBois Academy, which we're very proud of the fact that you all applied to be at our school. We understand that you had 24 other options, yet you chose us, so we're excited about that. So why choose us in the first place? As I mentioned earlier, our school has been designed from day one for males all males, specifically for males of color and folks who have historically been disenfranchised or not as well engaged, not from the standpoint of not wanting to be engaged as a young person, but sometimes just the opportunities and the systems in which we've been educated haven't always catered to our needs. So at the DuBois Academy, we make sure that everything that we do is coming from the mindset and the standpoint of we want to achieve excellence and want you to achieve excellence. So we know many facts about males of color when it comes to school. You know, least likely to be identified as gifted and talented, most likely to be suspended, most likely to be identified as a student that needs ECE services. So a lot of those narratives in our building, we want to make sure that we're constantly pushing back against those things. Next slide, please. So for those of you who may not have known, what it says right there on the screen, when we started our school, we started with the question of what do we want our young men to be like at the end of their experience with the DuBois Academy. When we started, the Board of Education guaranteed that we would be a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade institution. From day one, we've been breathing and speaking that we want to be a 6th through 12th grade academy. Thank you to our wonderful board members who are on the call. And to our district, we've been granted that opportunity. So not only are your young men, when they come to DuBois, going to get a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade experience, they're going to get a 6th through 12th grade experience so we can make sure that we're taking care of them and they're not going back to other schools that are unlike us. So if you look at the screen, as we went around, I got a chance to travel the country with Dr. Marshall to go to schools like DuBois and to talk to stakeholders, not just in Louisville, but all around the country. And I didn't hear anyone talking to me about, I want my son to be an excellent test taker. What I did hear was parents telling me, I want my son to be a better leader. I want him to be a good citizen. I want him to be a good man. I want him to have academic skills, but I also want him to have skills that will allow him to be passionate and purposeful about his life. So at the DuBois Academy, we absolutely care about academics. We absolutely care about things like tests that we take those things seriously, but we are not trying to push out the highest performing students solely. We want our students to be high performing, but we also want them to be really solid individuals that will eventually take care of everyone on this call that's over the age of 21. We want to make sure that our young men are capable of doing that and essentially changing the world and the narrative around what it means to be a young man, especially a young man of color. Next slide, please. So we often talk about, you know, the students that come to the DuBois Academy. A lot of folks, you know, have this notion that we cherry pick students or we only accept students who are high performing or students who have not had any behavior issues. It's very important that I talk to parents and let you all know at the DuBois Academy, we have students who score in the 99th percentile academically, meaning they are the highest performing students in our district and in the state for that matter. We also have students that come to us who aren't the highest performing students. Your young men, you all will get to know me. One of the first things that I'm going to show you is my 6th grade report card, where you will see D's, you will see F's, you will see comments written about your principal when he was in the 6th grade to show that I was not the best student academically. I got in a lot of trouble. So we want to make sure that we have a great, well-rounded population of students at our school. So we have students from all walks of life, all background, and all academic levels. And it's also, when we get face-to-face, I don't want to rub anyone the wrong way, but this is the time when generally when we're meeting face-to-face, I let our parents know that at this point you have to make a decision. And the decision you have to make is whether or not you want your son to be held to a high standard and to super high expectations. So if we were face to face right now, there are typically 4 doors in the auditorium where we normally meet. At this point in the meeting, I pause the meeting and I give any parent and any student the opportunity to get up and to walk out of those doors if they don't want these expectations. So at the DuBois Academy, the things that I promise you will happen, every young man that walks through our doors, he will be loved, he will be respected, he will be taken care of, he will be pushed to be great, the same way that any parent in our building would push their own children. So if We have to speak to students, you know, in a tone that at times they may not like or may not want to hear based on what they're doing. It's all out of love. If we have a student who doesn't want to participate academically that day, it's not a choice. It's not a suggestion. Students that come to our school will be held to a high standard, but they will have so much support to ensure that they get there. We have young men that come to our school building every day. If their clothes are dirty, guess what? Mr. Gunn will talk to you all later about, we have plenty of uniforms to help. If students come to school and they're hungry, we'll feed them. If a student gets off the bus or gets out of his parents' car and he looks like he's sad and he's crying, he's going to be met right there at the front door, and we're going to make sure that all of his needs are met. But we don't do well with excuses as to why students can't be great on a daily basis. Even when they give us excuses, we have answers, we have solutions. So I'm just going to pause for a second so I can let all of that sink in, because I just want you all to know what to expect. It's like we're getting into a long-term relationship, and if we're going to be married, you got to know who you're marrying. So I speak not just for myself, but for the staff as well. So I'll let anyone that may not want that for their sons to exit the meeting at this time. Excellent. It looks like we actually gained a participant. We went from 145 to 146, so we're good to go. Mr. Gunn, next slide, please. Okay, so the start of each day at our school, here are some of our young lions at the time when this was taken. This is our inaugural class, some of our students from 6th grade. So we typically start every day in a morning meeting type session. We call it brotherhood time. So with COVID-19, when we return to school, we may have to adjust a little bit, but our rules typically have been you hug, you high five, or you handshake. We play music, everyone gets up, everyone circulates, and it's our way to make sure that we're getting started every single day, getting off to a good start and making sure if anyone needs anything, this is a great time to make that happen. Next slide, please, Mr. Gunn. All right, as it shows, we will lift them up when others try to drag them down. When you become part of the DuBois family, you become part of that word family. We love hard, we work hard, and we take care of our students as if they were our own. And at times, like I said, there could be, you know, don't be surprised if, you know, your son comes home one day and said, you know, Mom, I was in class acting up. Mr. Gunn talked to me, you know, face to face. He got so close. I know that he had to have ham and cheese sandwich for lunch because I smelled it. He's probably telling you the truth, not because I'm trying to be demeaning or degrading to him, but it's the simple fact. I'm going to treat your son, speak to your son the same way I would talk to my 7-year-old son who's upstairs. And again, it will be all out of love and out of respect to make sure that he's great. Next slide, please. Okay, so again, what sets us apart? I'm going to be turning this over pretty soon to my wonderful team of administrators. I will put them up against anyone in the district. They are all great, but what this essentially says, our belief, we want to build great men, not build great test takers. We want to make sure that we're loving our guys to life, not pitying them to death. Again, the expectations will be high. Mr. Brooks and Miss Kathy, our wonderful counselors, are going to talk to you all in a little bit about our PRIDE values of perseverance, resilience, initiative, discipline, and empathy. Again, we believe our young men are assets. I don't really care what other people might think about them or what they look like or what they're going to be. They're going to learn to not care what other people think about them, but to show others who they are, what they're about, and why they were achieved or why they were born to achieve greatness. And again, you know, people who say our kids can't, they don't have a voice in our school building. Next slide, please. So we're going to turn it over and start talking a little bit about curriculum, but this African proverb, I would like to sit on the screen for a little bit and just let you all think about it. Only when lions have historians will hunters cease being heroes. So when I read this quote, and for our young men, you will see this is in one of our stairwells in the building. This quote essentially means to me that there's always two sides to every story. Typically in education, one story or one narrative has been promoted or pushed. At the DuBois Academy, we want to make sure that all sides of the stories are told. So if you think about the hunter and the lion, the lion becomes this big old game prize. They kill the lion, they may even take it to their family, take a picture with it and say, hey, look what I've done. Look how great I am. I've killed a mighty lion. Well, on the other hand, that lion also had a family. and the emotions that the Lions families have when they see someone in their pride hurt or killed, that's nothing to celebrate. It's another side to that story. So we always share this proverb with students just to let them know that whether we're talking about Christopher Columbus or another historical figure that I learned certain things about in school, we will also make sure that our young men learn the other side of the story as well. And it's not our job to tell our young men what to think, but it is to teach them how to think and how to look at what they're being told, to understand the source of who's telling that story, and to decide for themselves whether or not they feel that it's valid. Next slide, please, Mr. Gunn. Okay, so again, we believe and teach our young Lions, and it's important for the support that we show and that we have. Next slide, please, Mr. Gunn. All right, so now I'm going to introduce two of our wonderful counselors. First, Mr. Calvin Brooks, Sr., and Miss Paula Cathy, and they're going to talk to you all about what the counseling program means at the DuBois Academy. And I think the more that you listen, the more pleased that you will be, and you will see we're about doing things completely differently in our building.
Thank you, Mr. Gunn. And just to introduce myself, like you said, I am Calvin Brooks. I'm one of the counselors here at the DuBois Academy. I've been with the district. This is my 20th year. Started off with the DuBois Academy during that first year. It's been a great ride, and I'm looking forward to working with you young men and your families. Ms. Cathy.
Hello, I'm Paula Cathy. This is my 13th year in JCPS, second year at the DuBois Academy, and I'm just super excited to work with all of you. Welcome.
Next slide. All right, so I just want to go over some of the things that we focus on within our counseling program. If we were in a setting where we were together, then I would maybe be able to show you some products, some examples. But I think talking to these points, you will understand, you know, how we use these things to help our young Lions become great men at one point at the academy. So one of the things that sets us apart from just your typical middle school is our Afrocentric curriculum. And like Mr. Gunn said, we're not in the business of telling people what to think or what to believe, but we are in the business of creating independent thinkers. And one of the main ways you create independent thinkers is telling the full story. So with the Afrocentric curriculum, we embed that within our daily curriculum, our daily activities, but we go beyond the surface level of just giving you a novel about a prominent African-American or doing something during the month of February. We go beyond that surface level, and we are actually talking about some of the ideas and the philosophies of prominent African-Americans and how they have helped mold the world. And the purpose of that is to, for one, help students understand that African-American history is American history, and two, you can learn from anyone regardless of their culture. And we just want to introduce them to the full story because we know some of these stories have been left out of education. So we are going to we share that through the Afrocentric curriculum. One of the things that I also work with, or I'm part of at the DuBois Academy, is the gift leadership support. I'm not sure if we're going to talk about this much today, but one of the things that we do at the DuBois Academy is we give our young Lions an opportunity to be a part of Gifted, Talented, and the Advanced program through different avenues beyond academics. One of those is through Gifted and Talented. So one of the classes that I work with, or groups of kids that I work with, of those are those that have been found to be gifted in the area of leadership. And like Mr. Gunn said, these may not be the students that are the highest performing kids, but at the Academy, we've recognized that they have leadership skills, and we're going to help mold those. And this is one of the ways we do that. And that's one of our classes that meets on a Friday. As the counseling team, we do provide individual and group counseling. The individual, of course, is based on as needed basis. Parents, staff, anyone that has a concern for our young men can recommend them for counseling. Of course, all of this will be ran through the parent before we provide any services, but anyone that has a concern for a student, they can recommend them for individual counseling. Now with group counseling, what we're going to move to next year is doing this bi-weekly. And one of the things that sets our group counseling methods apart from other schools is that we focus on a student's strengths as opposed to their struggles. And what I mean by that is in your typical school setting, when you have groups, you may have an anger management group, you may have an organization group, groups that are built upon deficiencies, things that students can't do well. So at the academy, what we do is we take ideas like leadership, and we may put a student in there that lacks organizational skills, and they'll learn that in the process of becoming a better leader, as opposed to on the negative portion. We try to focus on the positive piece, and of course, give them, like Mr. Gunn said, the support to reach those goals. Lions to leaders. At the DuBois Academy, we understand that in order to build a village, you need people beyond the school building. So the Lions to Leaders program is a school-wide mentoring program that we have that gives other stakeholders an opportunity to come in and invest in our young men. Now, of course, we have procedures that must be followed to ensure that we are getting people into the building, have the interests of our young men at heart, background checks and those things. Of course, we have just screenings that we conduct, just conversations that we have with folks, just to ensure that we're getting people that have our best interests within the building. Parents as well, if you want to become involved with the Lions to Leaders mentoring program, you may do that as well. That can be your contribution to our community. And it would just, like I said, require just a background check, and we move forward with that. Mentors come to see the students at least once a month in most cases, and we do it during times that prevent disrupting instruction. So classroom visits are very rare. Mostly the visits occur during like lunch, breakfast, brotherhood time, things of that nature. But once again, like Mr. Gunn said, we're gonna tell your students to climb a 20-foot wall, but we're gonna throw a rope down and say, now climb that wall. So we're gonna always give them the support they need, but we are going to require them to reach, as high as they possibly can. And we know that we need sometimes more hands on deck outside of the folks that are in the building. So yes, that's my part of the counseling program. Ms. Kathy, next slide, Mr. Gunn.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. So some other opportunities that we have for Young Lions are counseling core opportunities. Many of you may have heard that referred to as guidance. We call it counseling core, and we focus on our PRIDE values. So usually about every 6 weeks, we focus on perseverance, resilience, initiative, discipline, or empathy. And we talk about people in history, people in the community, and then have students look at some of the experiences that those people have had and make connections so that they can grow in those PRIDE values. We also have other mental health support. We have a school-based mental health practitioner named Mr. Sullivan, and he does a great job with the students he works with. And we also have several partnerships with some of our mental health community partners. Another program that we have that we're very proud of is our Courageous Conversations. This is actually a program for our adults. We ask you to come in and engage in conversations with us about things that you want to know about. We talk about things that are going on in our community and situations that impact our young men. So we will definitely send a calendar out so that you all can become a part of that. And then last but not least, we have offered lots of college and career opportunities for our Lions and Young Lions, including college visits. And we have had some virtual career experiences since we've been in the NTI process. Mr. K. Gunn, would you change the slide? We will hold them accountable when an excuse seems to be an easy way out. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Amy Wells, and she is one of our assistant principals. She is going to share some information with you about our curriculum. Thank you. Mr. Kagan, next slide, please.
Good evening, everyone. I am Amy Wells, one of the assistant principals, and the start of next school year as you enter 6th grade and become Young Lions will be the beginning of my 22nd year in education, which is hard to believe. I'm looking so forward to getting to know all of you as learners and as young men and watch you grow academically and socially through the PRIDE values that you're seeing on the screen right now. So both Mr. Gunn and Mr. Brooks and Ms. Kathy have touched on what we believe at the DuBois Academy, which is designing backwards from what we want students to be like long term. And that was kind of the first question that we asked ourselves, knowing a promise that we made to our school community, to you as parents and to you as students, to make sure that it had an Afrocentric focus. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what that means. But infused into our curriculum and into our day-to-day instruction in classrooms are opportunities for you to develop and to persevere. Tasks that will require you to be resilient. Chances in the classroom to take initiative as a leader or to take initiative as a first follower. And then also thinking about discipline and empathy and what that means from a curriculum standpoint, that's embedded into everyday life at the DuBois Academy. We also have our competencies, which you see on your screen as well, being a good communicator, an innovative thinker. We know that for a curriculum to be effective, if we want you to be determined as a scholar, we're going to have to give you opportunities in the classroom that require determination. And if we want to empower you as a citizen, we need to give you tasks and opportunities to involve yourself in the community and to actively take part as a citizen. And so those are the things that you can expect in our classrooms. Mr. Gunn, could you move to the next slide? We will love them to life, not pity them to death. And so when we think about loving students to life, the curriculum is so important in bringing to life your identity as a scholar and your identity as you become a young man and eventually a man. And so the way we do that is by having, oh, could you go back one? Is by having a curriculum that is Afrocentrically focused. And when we very first started out, the first summer in 2018, we asked ourselves that question: what does it mean to have an Afrocentrically focused curriculum? What does that look like? And so we had to answer that question as a staff. Mr. Kagan, can you go forward one slide? Thank you. So as a staff, we work together with our teachers and based on research to think about what Afrocentric curriculum means. And we know, of course, that it is really helping you as students value your identity as an African American, to be able to see yourself in the curriculum. And what Mr. Gunn mentioned before is so important, is making sure that all the stories are told. Oftentimes, traditional curriculum only tells the story from a Eurocentric lens. And we want to make sure that all perspectives are told, all perspectives are celebrated, and that you have an opportunity to really see yourself in the content that's being presented in the classroom. And so you can expect that in the lessons and in our classrooms, is to see a curriculum that looks different than maybe you've engaged in before. Can you move to the next slide? Thanks, Mr. Gunn. So I want to give an example of what that means for something to be relevant and real world, something that's authentic. When we think about our curriculum, you heard Mr. Gunn say what we want our kids to be like is not just effective at taking tests, but we want them to be prepared for 40 years from now. So we think about it as, what do they need to know in 40 days? What do they need to know in 40 months? But what do they need to be able to take with them 40 years from now? And so this is an example of how we brought a situation directly into our classrooms and used it as a learning opportunity. Our first year, many of you know, we shared space at Male High School. And Mr. Gunn received an email from a parent that was upset that her daughter had to attend school alongside males of color. She felt offended by walking down the hallways of our part of the building where the DuBois Academy lived and worked together, where there were images, pieces of artwork with relevant African-American leaders, relevant leaders in general, and not all were male. But her email to Mr. Gunn, we used as a jumping off point to teach all of our sixth graders at that time how to write an authentic argument as a counter to a lot of the false information that was a part of that email. So we were able to take something real time, real world, authentic, from a real audience, share it with our students, name removed of course, but share it with our students as a way for them to understand standards of how to write an authentic argument. And it's experiences like that where we try to bring curriculum to life for your students. And so for those of you young lions who are sitting there, know that what you see happening in the world around you is going to be brought into the classroom for you to learn from, engage with, and respond to as you grow as a scholar. So if you can move to the next slide, this kind of goes without saying, but it's something that I think is important. because oftentimes in education, we get really overly focused on what our K-Prep scores are gonna be or what our test, reveals at the end of the year. And what we know at the DuBois Academy is if we do provide you opportunities to engage in our P.R.I.D.E values and our competencies, and our goal is ultimately for what we want you to be like long-term, knowing that the purpose of school is not to be good at school, all of that other stuff, those high test scores, that academic achievement that is at the highest level takes care of itself. So when you think about engaging in the curriculum at the DuBois Academy, I hope you're as excited as we all are to give you the opportunity to prepare for life after school, because we know for you guys it's going to be excellent. So I get the privilege of introducing to you a parent that has a student that's going to be an 8th grader, which Miss Bradley, I can't believe that. But she's going to talk to you a little bit about the commitment that you're making as a family and as parents, and she certainly embodies that more than anyone that I know. And so let me introduce to you Miss Bradley. Her young lion is about to be an 8th grader. So welcome.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. Well, good evening. My name is Marcella Bradley, and yes, I am the proud parent of a soon-to-be 8th grader. His name is Jalen Dykes. I'm excited, and it is hard to believe because I was there when they opened the doors of DuBois Academy, and it was an exciting time, and actually it's still exciting at the DuBois Academy. My son actually keeps it exciting for me. So he is the DuBois Academy has turned out to be a great fit for my son. He stays involved. He loves the school. He loves being engaged in the school. He loves teachers. And if you meet my son, he is an ambassador for the school. He's one of the school salespeople. So he can't say enough about the school. And because of that, I am also involved in the school. It's important that parents are involved in the school. It is at DuBois is essential. We have a lot of parental involvement in the school, and on that note, I took a couple years off, and then my son said it was time for me to re-engage, and so I did re-engage. In January, we started the W.E.B. DuBois Academy Parent Teacher Student Association. And so we got it off the ground, and in January we got our PTSA off the ground, and shortly thereafter we had our first event in February. We co-hosted the Mother-Son Dance with the Parent Engagement Committee, and then to be fair, we planned on doing a father-son type of event, and then but before we could do that, COVID-19 happened, so that didn't happen. But we are still excited. We're excited about the things that we're going to get to do hopefully next year. We're still looking at plans on things to do for next year because the lions and young lions at DuBois are so active and they're so involved. A lot of the events that we plan as a PTSA are actually co-hosting and assisting, because we want them to be out there, as everyone has said, leading in the front, leading. And most of our work we see as helping them, as being helpers, maybe more so in the background. But we want to help them to succeed, we want to help them to achieve, and we want to see them lead. We want to participate in helping to develop these well-rounded citizens, and to help them develop their life skills. So it has been an exciting time. So we're looking forward to meeting all of you, 6th grade. Oops, sorry, check my camera. Sorry, is it not on? I think it's on. But we're looking forward to meeting all of the 6th graders. And all the parents of the 6th graders, and doing great things as a PTA, as a PTSA, and working with all the students next year to make great things happen, despite whatever COVID-19 allows us to do. We're gonna find a workaround to make it happen. So again, we're looking forward to all those things. So our currently we have, of course, there's me. I'm the PTSA president, and I am a former president at Kennedy Montessori. And then we have several vice presidents. Our treasurer is Macretia Bell. Her son is also an 8th grader. Our secretary is Terry White. And then, like I said, we have 4 vice presidents as well. And so we're looking for new parents to get involved, participate, and to help us with our mission, which of course is to do whatever we can to help the school succeed and our young lions succeed, and to make the school better.
Thank you, Ms. Bradley. Mr. Gunn, will you go to the next slide? And Ms. Bradley is going to lead us through parents. One of the things that you heard and saw earlier was our school creed, which our students and our staff recite every day. Next up, the next slide is also our parent or our family creed. So Ms. Bradley is going to lead you all through this. And before she does that, I just want to put the plug in again. Thank you very much, Ms. Bradley. And I guess the next thing that I'm going to say embodies who Ms. Bradley is, but also what we expect from all of our parents when you come on and you join the DuBois Academy family. So first thing, and I'll just be completely honest with you all as parents, it takes a lot for students to get in trouble in our building. What do I mean by that? I am a 39-year-old man who still makes mistakes. And when I was 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, I can't even begin to describe how much trouble that I was in school. So the first part of my statement is just to let you all know as parents, we don't expect, and to let you young men coming into our building know, we don't expect for you to be perfect. No one is. And we expect for you to make mistakes. That said, when you make a mistake, we expect for you to accept correction. We have what we call leader rules in our building, and they literally spell out the word leader: to listen and follow all directions, to engage in your learning, to accept correction, do your best, eliminate excuses, and to respect yourself and others. So parents, I'm only mentioning this to you all because there will be days that if we call you and we need to speak to you, or we need you to come to the school, the expectation is you're going to understand that the person on the phone is trying to help with the situation. And if we need you, we need you. For example, I've been told at times, calling a parent, and the parent said, well, there's nothing I can do right now. I'm at work. Please don't be caught off guard or be offended if I say, well, I'm at work as well, and I'm calling you so you can possibly speak to your son, because I've been with him for 30 minutes. I've been with him for 45 minutes. I've pulled out every trick that I know, and I don't want him to be in trouble. So why don't you just talk to him? He's made a mistake. He can fix that mistake, and we can go on about our day. So in Ms. Bradley's case, I don't even know that I've never had to call about Jalen, but that's one side of the relationship. When it comes to the other piece, there has been times where Ms. Bradley has wanted to come into the school to either ask questions of me or ask questions of teachers about how to better support Jalen, or things that she just may need, to understand better. So I'm speaking to you all right now to let you all know this is a two-way street. We're going to do everything we can to support your son, and the expectation is you will work with us to support him, and vice versa. If you need anything from us, we have an open door policy. You can come in and visit classrooms to see what your son is learning. You can come in to speak to me, to speak to our administrative staff. So we just want to be very transparent and letting you all know the expectation is that we are partners in educating your sons, and we will make sure we do the best on our end, and we would hope and expect that you all do as well. So sorry to interrupt your time, Ms. Bradley. I know you're going to lead the family creed, but I definitely just wanted, our families and our parents to know what kind of partnership it is that they're getting into.
Okay. All right. So the family creed. Here we are. My child was born to achieve greatness. As a parent, I will make sure that I provide opportunities to help my son reach his greatness. His greatness will be a result of my commitment collaboration, and support of school personnel. I will help my son achieve all of his goals by reviewing his agenda, providing a quiet place for homework, and attending parent-teacher conferences. I will help my son be accountable for his actions by providing him with opportunities to be responsible at home and in our community. He was born to achieve greatness, and I will help him to become the king he is destined to become.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bradley. Well done, well done. Mr. Gunn, next slide, please. All right, and here is our inaugural class. This is when they were young lions. So these guys right here are going to be 8th graders next year. This was our very first tie and jacket ceremony. That's something that parents and students is a tradition and part of our history at the DuBois Academy. So as soon as we're able, we will make sure that your young men get this opportunity as well. It happens at the Ali Center. You know, students come in with their khakis and a white shirt on, and many of them, you know, who may need a blazer, everyone gets a tie. If you need a blazer, we provide that for you as well. But that is the donning of the jacket that evening, and it's pretty cool. So we have a video that we wanted to show you all of our first tie and jacket ceremony. So Mr. Gunn, if you'll go to the next slide, we can show that video. Oh, not the video just yet. So we've talked a lot about academics tonight, and I don't want any parent to walk away and think, oh, at the DuBois Academy, you know, they don't really care about academic data. There couldn't be anything further from the truth. And in fact, we're always glad to share with our families that despite the fact that we're not trying to solely improve students' test scores, we're trying to improve their whole being for the 2nd straight year. When you look at African-American males specifically in our district, the students at the DuBois Academy have outpaced and outgrown their peers at every other middle school in the district. So it doesn't matter where the student comes in, and I mean students who are at the highest percentiles, they're growing. Students who come in at the lowest percentiles, they are growing. So that's something we've been very excited about. Next slide, please, Mr. Gunn. In terms of students wanting to be at the DuBois Academy. So as you can see, 92% of our students feel that teachers care, as compared to 75% at other schools in our district. Next slide, please. 88% feel as though they belong in our school. The average, you know, at the district level is 75%. Next slide, please. Again, look at sense of belonging, and this is a number that, you know, we want to certainly be at 100%, but would rather go to our school than any other school. If you look at that, that's 27 percentage points higher than students who attended other schools. Next slide, please. And again, 75% versus 50% in other schools in the district. Next slide, please. And this is what I was telling you all about our tie and jacket ceremony. And I see people are writing questions in the chat. As Mr. Gunn starts to play this video, please continue to put those in there. We will capture them all and we will get back with answers to the questions that you all have. Lots of videos, Mr. Gunn. It's the 4th one up top. There you go. I want everyone in this room to make no mistake what this night is about. It is about 157 young lions who will change the face of our city.
I challenge you to accept the instructions, support, and everything else these teachers are going to try to give you guys. Inside your jacket, there's an insert that reads, "The process of us becoming the man that we want to be takes place in the library, on the practice court, in the field and also the pew. Do your part every day to become a better man.
Tonight, young men, you too sing America. This is historic. This is beautiful. Do not stop.
For the rest of your lives, you will be known as the first young men to be in this school.
I would love to talk to you about what our school is about, and that is pride. The P stands for perseverance, the R stands for resilience, the I stands for initiative, the D stands for discipline, and the E stands for empathy.
When we talk about statistics, we talk about numbers. When we talk about numbers, we leave out names. When we leave out names, we forget about the stories, and best believe each and every last one of these young lions has a story that he will be empowered to tell. He will call himself powerful. He will call himself purposeful. He will call himself passionate, and he will always be punctual because he will be on time because we have business to handle.
This is a great day in the history of our city. When you think about our responsibility to optimize the educational outcome for every student in our city.
I am part of the pride. I am a lion. I am a king, and I set the standard for excellence.
Thank you very much, Mr. K. Gunn. And a question that I saw that just popped up, how many students were in this class? We're at 150 students right on the button for this incoming class. Unfortunately, this year we had so much interest, we had to turn away over 200 students this year, just based on the sheer number of students that we had applied to our program. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes what we have for you all this evening. There will be a lot more information coming out. I see that you all have some questions. So we will send out further information about uniforms. We'll send out information about blazers. We will send out more information about transportation. And then we will send out information regarding any events that we will have once we can actually get together and meet in person. In terms of blazers, parents, one thing that I can tell you, I have two. One of them I purchased from Shaheen's. The other one, I actually just had a regular navy blue blazer that was a lot cheaper than the ones at Shaheen's. And we have iron-on crests that you can take and you can put on any jacket. So we don't want folks to feel like you have to spend $70 at Shaheen's to get a jacket. If you find a blue blazer, we will have crests that you can purchase from us. They're $5. You can iron it on, and quite honestly, that's the blazer that I wore more often. For anyone that might have uniform needs, again, everyone's going to get a tie free of charge. Our ties are custom made, but if you happen to have a need with a blazer, don't stress out about that. We will be able to help furnish that if that's something that your young man needs. So again, more information will be coming out about things as we learn more and get more information about how COVID-19 will impact us. But the thing that is guaranteed, if you're on this call, if you've gotten that letter, you are a member of the DuBois Academy. So we like to welcome you all, let you all know. Many of you all I'm seeing and meeting for the first time, but I love you already, and it's not anything that you can do about it. So we look forward to seeing you all and meeting you all face to face. Parents, again, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. Otherwise, you can reach out to us via email, and we'll be timely in getting back to you all. Great seeing everybody tonight. To everyone on the staff, thank you all very much. To Mr. K. Gunn, he is our Youth Service Center Coordinator. Thank you very, very much, sir. You did a great job running through the slides and the presentations. And Mr. Gunn sends out a lot of information as well. In terms of sports programs, absolutely. We will put all those in emails. Mr. Peak is actually on the line. And Mr. Peak, looks like we probably have about another minute or two. Do you want to talk to our young men about what we have in terms of sports programming?
Yes, sir. So we all know with our pending COVID-19 situation that sports will most likely be postponed for a little while. But that will not stop the boys in the success we've been having in sports. Our first sport of the season, we will start contact football if whenever the district allows us to. We also have basketball teams on every grade level now. So there will be a 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade basketball team. In the spring sports category, we have sports like track, baseball, flag football, and then we're looking to add some more sports such as cross country, looking to add sports like wrestling and lacrosse. And then also when it comes to sports, just be very aware, parents, our sports do operate on an elite level. With that being said, our 6th grade basketball team won a district championship last year, only lost 1 game the whole entire season. And then also understand that our students are held to a high standard regardless of the sport and regardless of the season. And so that GPA is always monitored via sports. And our athletic director, Mr. Duncan, and I will also be having an orientation meeting for sports here coming pretty soon. So look out in your emails. We'll talk about all the sports coming up for the season. And hopefully we'll have some answers for you on when those sports can start. As of right now, the district is on hold, so we're on hold as well. But we look forward to getting your young Lions out to try out, participate. And if not sports, I encourage the young Lions to do something, be a part of something, because the DuBois Academy is great only because the students who are in it, the students who are active. So make sure if you are not a sports athlete, if you have no interest in sports whatsoever, we have robotics, we have different engineering clubs, and we have a lot of things that could suit your interest. If you're an artist, like it's myself, if you like to play music, we have several opportunities for your young Lions to be engaged in school and outside of school.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peak, and I'm glad, and I was hoping that you would hit on that. So for anyone that may be wondering, we know not everybody likes to run, jump, catch, tackle, those types of things. So for folks who aren't as interested in sports, I'm always proud that we have more non-sports extracurricular activities than we actually have sports in our building. So quick recall, future problem solving. We have a cooking club. Every Friday, gentlemen, you're going to have an opportunity to be in something that's called a passion class. So the end of every school week, you will actually pick a class that you get to attend that you're excited about, whether you want to be a chef when you grow up. If you want to be a lawyer, we actually have a judge that comes in. If you want to be a police officer, FBI agent, we've had folks come in. The FBI literally came with a full-on tank and parked it in front of the DuBois Academy for students that were interested in that. So we literally have something for everyone. So we're looking forward to meeting you all. Again, I'm very excited. Hopefully the next time we all see each other, we'll be in person. And depending on guidelines, we might be wearing masks. We might have to, give elbows or whatever. But as soon as we're ready and able to, well, not as soon as we're ready, because we're ready now. As soon as we're able to, we look forward to meeting you all. So thank you all very much. Again, keep those questions coming. Love you guys and look forward to meeting you all in person. Have a great night.
Sir, do you want me to leave it open until everyone leaves or just shut it down? Or?
Yeah, if we needed to jump on,